this morning, if you'll turn with me to Genesis chapter 13. We'll begin right there. Notice my belly getting a little bigger. You getting smaller, brother, I'm getting bigger. Let's be the runner. I'm running back and you're running forward. Genesis chapter 13, beginning in verse 1. The Bible says, and Abram went up out of Egypt, his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. Abram was very rich in cattle, and silver, and in gold. He went on his journeys from the south, even to Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hai, until the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. The land was not able to bear them, they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen. We are brethren. Is it not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. Thou wilt take the left hand, and I will go to the right. Or if thou part to the right, and I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes, and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. For the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan. Lot journeyed east, and separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked, and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said to Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thy eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which thou seest to thee will I give thee, and to the seed forever. And I will make the seed as dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land, and the length of it, and the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. And Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the land, the plain of Mamre, which is Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Something that you do every day, something that nobody here can avoid, something you've already done today, something you'll do for the rest of the day, something you'll do tonight, something you'll do tomorrow, is make decisions. There's big decisions, little decisions, the decisions that we don't even recognize as decisions, but one thing we do is have decisions. One thing that is unmistakably true is decisions affect your life greatly. Now I'm going to say this statement this morning, and this will be the statement that the Lord has placed on my heart. Decisions that we do today, decisions, those small decisions, big decisions, it doesn't matter, but decisions we make today greatly affect our life in the future. Amen. Decisions we make today can, even unaware, greatly affect our life in the future. Some decisions affect us tomorrow. Some decisions affect us next week. Some decisions may take a month, years. But decisions truly that we make truly affect our life. I'm going to tell you this story, and this is how it all came to be. This is on Monday. The pastor of your church has told them greatly about broadening his horizons and trying to be a little smarter and advance my knowledge and maybe go back to school and learn a thing or two. Now, in this decision, I would have to have financial help, financial aid in order to go where I want to go and do the things I want to do. Well, so I began that process, and it's pretty simple today. You do it all on the internet. You know, you do this thing, and they'll send you this thing, and then you fill out this, and you take it here and there and there and there and here and there and there and here. And after all that's done, you just simply, they'll let you know. You can check the internet, and they'll tell you if you receive any money or not. It's that simple. Well, but in the process, one of the things that come up on the internet was a red flag, and what you're supposed to do is check the site, and you put in your PIN number they give you, and you check the site periodically, and if red flags come up, then they can tell you that you should, put your attention to these red flags trying to solve this problem. Well, one of the red flags that come up on me was that Selective Service could not find me. And then you go through that process to their website, and after I went to their website and tried to find myself in Selective Service, it says I didn't exist. So then I go back, and they say, well, if you're 26 years or older, there's no need to register. So then I contact financial aid, the best way I can, and they say, well, you have to have a status letter showing that your status is non-existent with Selective Service, and the reason you don't exist there. So I said, okay. So I'm calling Selective Service. So they put me on hold. I'm driving down the road. I'm driving a good distance. I'm driving an hour and a half drive. And, I just go on hold forever. And then I lose my service. Then I call back, get put on hold, lose my service. Finally, but during this process, this recording comes on. And it says, if you're not registered with Selective Service. Now, and this makes sense. This may make you ineligible to receive financial aid. So then I get that hit and stuff. Oh, man. But it makes sense. If you don't register with Selective Service, because the law is that within 30 days of your 18th birthday, you should register with Selective Service. When I'm 18, I really didn't care about anything. That's really the point. So I'm trying to think back now that I'm 35, what did I do when I was 18? And I'm thinking, I can't even remember I didn't care. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to the military. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to chase girls. And I had to make money to do that, so I just got a job. That's all I cared about. So, finally, like I said, so I had to spend this period of time with this stomach ache thinking, well, I'm not going to get no money now. I'm not going to get no help for sure because I didn't do what, because they've already told me. I've already checked the website, and the website said I didn't exist. That means I didn't register. And I'm thinking, they give me my Social Security number. Why don't I exist? In other words, the government gives you a Social Security number, but then you got to turn around back and tell them, this is my Social Security number and this is my name. Put it in this computer. Don't make no sense. But the way it is. So finally I get on the phone and the guy says, well, tell me why you didn't register. I said, dude, I'm on this just what I just told you. I said, I didn't care. I don't even know until today, I never heard of you. Really and truly. I mean, I've heard of the draft. You've heard of the draft. But I've never heard of selective service. I just always heard you register for the draft. And I didn't want to be drafted. Not at 18. Because that would take me away from chasing girls. So, you know. So anyway, he said, what's your name and number? I mean, your social security number and your name and your address. So he goes back on the phone and says, great news, man. You're registered. It just seems like when you was 18, you just made up a social security number. Because I have your name and your address and just some 9-digit or 10-digit code that makes no sense at all. And probably what he said was exactly true. Because I remember a desk set up in the hallway of J High School, and I remember briefly going to that desk and registering. But I never knew my number in high school. You know, I carry it now, and I remember it now because I use it a lot. But back then, you didn't use it. And your mom protected it, you know, and it was kind of a secret. Well, so I just made up a number. I did. I'm really sure that's what I did. I just made up every how many digits I did. I said, okay, well, this is my name and address. Here you go. But the rest of the day, I was like, man, well, that's good news. Because now I'm eligible. And by the time I had you know, gotten back with financial aid, you know, they said, well, he gave me a reference number and said, I'll send you in the mail all this, you know, it takes 6 weeks and all that. But he gave me this thing and said, this should be good. But by the time I had contacted them back, they said, well, it's okay in our computer. And I said, well, and what happened is when he fixed it in his computer, it went good. So, but right then and there, I began to think, man, that little bitty decision I made when I was 18 years old, right then and there could have greatly affected a decision. Now, whether I advance my education or not, later on can have a great effect on my life down the road. Or maybe it won't. But it all comes back, all those things come back to that decision that I made at 18. Not really thinking about how far. And each one of us here today can think of something we did in the past, some decision we made that has come back and affected us. And not only affected us, but affected us in a great deal, a great way. My wife probably thinks, oh yeah, marrying you is the one I'm thinking about. Donnie, quit laughing. The joke's old now, man. But you take Lot, you take Abram. Abram gave up his decision. But he was really making a decision by giving up his decision. He made a decision to give up his decision. And he done that because he wanted to, his decision came out of peace. In other words, Lot, whatever will make you happy is what I'll do. If it makes you happy to go to the left, then I'll go to the right. You know, Lot, if you want me to go the other way, then you can go the other way. So, really, Abram's decision stemmed from peace. And that's where he got the basis of making his decision. Now, on the other hand, Lot's decision came from greed.